Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Why Golden Bachelorette Jonathan's last relationship ended. Golden Bachelorette contestant Jonathan Roan hasn't had luck finding his second great love. He revealed why his last relationship ended. Keep reading for all the details. Jonathan Roan reveals where he stands with ex-wife. Jonathan Roan, 61, is a shipping consultant from a small town in Ohio hoping to find love with Joan Vassos. He revealed to a shocked audience that his ex-wife suddenly filed for divorce out of the blue in 2015. He opened up more about the heartbreaking split during a one-on-one date with Joan Vassos. The suitor was a guest on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast this week. He updated posts Serena Pitt and Joe Amado where his relationship with his ex stands now. According to Roan, it isn't as friendly as he'd like. I would have to say it's amicable. Unfortunately, there's really not a friendship because of the way things went down according to me and my book. He added, my certain boundaries, my values. From the moment we decided to get married and have children, there were some things there that meant a lot to me, and in a sense, it wasn't what she wanted anymore. However, they are trying to keep things civil for their two children. Why his last relationship ended, despite divorcing nearly a decade ago, Jonathan Roan hasn't had much luck in his love life. He said that living in a small town in Ohio doesn't give him many prospects, so he turned to online dating. He met a woman who lives in Norway. He flew out there to meet her, and she flew to the States during their relationship as well. However, they couldn't make it work. Jonathan explained, it became more of a fantasy that I was involved in, and it took me out of my reality. It took me out of my present day, my responsibilities of doing things for my kids, for my job, things like that. And so the dating life has been kind of hit or miss. There's always been a distance issue with me, but I've never given up on it though. If distance is an issue, he may not find love with Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos either. She previously said she's not looking for an engagement, but more of a long-distance relationship. She doesn't want to move away from her family in Maryland. Reality TV, especially in the form of dating shows, has always been a magnet for drama, heartish, and love stories that captivate millions. But the allure of the Golden Bachelorette, a spin-off that focuses on seniors seeking second chances at love, takes on a new layer of depth. Unlike the younger contestants of its predecessor, those on the Golden Bachelorette bring with them a wealth of experience. Sometimes heartbreak, but also hope for rekindled romance. Jonathan, one of the most charismatic and enigmatic figures on the show, stands out not just for his charm, but for the emotional baggage he carries from his last relationship. While his past relationship was not heavily discussed during the early episodes of the show, the eventual revelation of why it ended opened a raw, emotional wound for both Jonathan and the viewers. His candid confession about the reasons behind his breakup was a defining moment, revealing both vulnerability and a deeper understanding of the complexities that come with love later in life. Let's explore the multi-layered story behind Jonathan's last relationship, the reasons for its end, and what it means for him going forward on the Golden Bachelorette. Jonathan's backstory. The foundation of his love life. Before diving into the breakup itself, it's essential to understand Jonathan's romantic history. Like many on the Golden Bachelorette, Jonathan isn't a stranger to love. He was married for over 30 years to his high school sweetheart Lisa. Their marriage was the quintessential American love story, full of affection, shared dreams, and life's inevitable ups and downs. They raised children, built a life together, and created a foundation based on trust and companionship. But life, as it often does, threw them an unexpected curveball when Lisa passed away after a long battle with cancer. Her death left Jonathan devastated both emotionally and mentally. For years, he struggled with loneliness and the feeling that he would never love again. However, after counseling and deep introspection, Jonathan eventually decided to re-enter the dating world, a journey that led him to his next relationship, which ended up being the catalyst for his emotional arc on the Golden Bachelorette. The beginning of Jonathan's last relationship, hope after heartache. Jonathan met Karen at a grief support group, a connection rooted in shared experiences of loss. Karen had also lost her spouse, and their mutual understanding of each other's pain became the foundation of their romance. Unlike the whirlwind romances typical of younger dating shows, Jonathan and Karen took things slow, letting their relationship develop naturally over time. They shared quiet dinners, attended family events, and took trips together, building a bond that seemed poised for something long-lasting. From the outside, it seemed like the perfect match, two people who had been through immense hardship and had found solace in each other. Jonathan was finally smiling again, something his children were incredibly grateful for, and his friends were optimistic that he had found a second shot at happiness. However, as their relationship progressed, cracks began to appear beneath the surface. The reasons for the breakup: Jonathan struggles with guilt and moving on. Despite the outward appearance of a healthy, loving relationship, Jonathan was battling inner turmoil. His past with Lisa still loomed large in his mind, and no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't shake the guilt he felt about moving on. Karen was patient with him, but as the months passed, it became clear that Jonathan hadn't fully processed the loss of his wife. Jonathan's emotional struggle was compounded by his sense of obligation to his late wife's memory. He would often compare Karen to Lisa, not consciously, but in ways that Karen could feel. She noticed Jonathan would sometimes pull back during intimate moments or get lost in thought whenever they talked about the future. It became evident that Jonathan still had one foot in the past and wasn't entirely ready to open himself up to a new future, at least not yet. During one heartfelt conversation that would ultimately end their relationship, Karen confronted Jonathan about his emotional distance. "I feel like I'm competing with a ghost," she told him. Jonathan, to his credit, was honest about his feelings. He admitted that while he deeply cared for Karen, he wasn't sure if he had fully moved on from Lisa's passing. His emotional honesty, while commendable, also signaled the end of their romantic relationship. Jonathan and Karen parted amicably, recognizing that while they shared a deep connection, the timing wasn't right. Jonathan needed more time to heal, to fully reconcile his past before he could commit to someone else in the present. Lessons learned: emotional growth and self-reflection. Jonathan's breakup with Karen taught him some valuable lessons that he carried with him into his time on The Golden Bachelorette. One of the most critical realizations he had was that grief isn't something that can be rushed, and neither is love after loss. For Jonathan, the breakup wasn't just about the end of a relationship. It was about coming to terms with the reality that he wasn't quite ready to start a new chapter of his life, despite his desire to do so. Throughout the show, Jonathan often references this relationship when talking to the other contestants, especially during moments of vulnerability. His journey became one of not just seeking love, but learning to love again without the weight of guilt and past heartbreak. It's clear that his experience with Karen helped him grow emotionally, allowing him to be more open and honest with himself about where he stood in his healing process. What's next for Jonathan? As Jonathan continues his journey on The Golden Bachelorette, viewers are left wondering if he will be able to fully embrace a new love. The show is more than just a dating competition for Jonathan. It's an emotional and spiritual journey. His last relationship with Karen was a stepping stone, a crucial part of his path towards self-awareness and healing.